What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another sermon meditation. It's the start of a new month. I hope you are well. I hope that April is starting correctly for you. This has been an interesting month so far, and I am grateful for the month and looking forward to what's ahead. I have been so thankful for the space and just, I hope, number one, I hope you are enjoying the space, but also in just having the ability to share the word. I'm just very grateful to God. And I have another sermon. This one was great. And I will implore you to listen to the full sermon, not just the excerpt, because this was a very powerful word. The word was Closer Than You Think by Pastor Don Johnson. And I literally stumbled upon this sermon, but it really blessed me, really edified me. And I hope it does the same for you. So, without further ado, I'm not going to talk too much in the beginning, but we will talk at the end. Let's get into the sermon.
Somebody better hear me. Sometimes when God pulls you out of a place, it is not meant for you to go back. Sometimes when it hurts you because they left, God did not mean for you to go back. When you packed that last time, God said, grab your hat, your coat, and I got to show you something. I got to get out of here. I got to show you something. In verse 9, he says, get everything and leave. Comes verse 9, he says, and follow me. I want to make sure y'all have the same shout now. He says, and follow me out of here. Now here is where everything changes. He says, but he had no idea what the angel was doing. It's right there. He says, what the angel was doing, I had no idea what was going on. I thought it was a vision. I asked God this question: why did you not make Peter aware of what was going on? And he took me to a medical terminology called cognitive bias. I said, cognitive bias? He said, yes, son, cognitive bias is not a random error. It is rather a predictable pattern that people oftentimes do, that they make decisions based off their experiences, their past behaviors, and what they think is going to happen. And God is saying, I'm about to do something different. And what I don't need is for him to get in the way of what I'm doing next. So I don't need for him to get a cognitive bias, and for him to think, watch this, I'm working a random pattern of something I did in the past. Okay. I said, God, help me understand this. He says, I did it because I didn't need Peter to get in the way. God says, I need you to stop interfering with your deliverance. Okay. You don't believe it. You don't believe it. Somebody shout, show me. I can't hear. Somebody shout, show me. Okay. God's trying to show you greatness. You're trying to show him grasshoppers. Come here, Numbers 13. He said, we are well able to take every promise you have. And then somebody in the audience, somebody in your crew, somebody in your circle, somebody with cognitive bias that deals with the random pattern of a past behavior says, for we are grasshoppers in our own sight. And God said, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Do you know what I'm doing in your life? I don't need you to interfere with what I'm trying to do for you. And you're messing up because you think you know everything? You mean to tell me? You mean because your mama went through it, you got to go through it? because your daddy went through it, you have to go through it. The devil is a liar. You can be the first one in your family to bring forth wealth, generational wealth. You can be the first one to break the pattern. Don't tell me. I am sick and tired of people telling me where they come from. I'm sick and tired of people telling me how you raised. You know what that says to me? Peter, you're in a prison that you don't think God can get you out of. What God is saying to me is, don't tell me about a pattern. Tell me about my praise. Don't tell me about my pattern. Tell me about a promise. Don't tell me about what you can't do. Tell me about who I am. I'm the God that starts a generation. I'm the God that... Okay. Y'all, I got so much more I want to talk about. He says, listen, you get in the way. Peter said, I had no idea what was going on. Peter said, I had no idea what was going on. I want to declare to some of you today, you're about to head into a season. God's about to bless you so good. You have no idea what's going on. I'm walking into season. I have no idea what's going on. Every time I turn around, blessings is hitting my house. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to tell God I'm a grasshopper. What I'm not going to do is get in my own way of what God's trying to bless me with. I dare you to touch everybody you can and tell them it just hit your house. It just hit your house. It just hit your house. It just hit, yeah. Don't tell me about your current condition. Don't tell me about your situation. What if, because I like to do this, when I'm reading scripture, I like to play what if every now and then. I just like to play what if. What if God had allowed Peter to have a conversation with the angel? And he started asking the angel, how are we going to get past this first guard? How are we going to get past this second guard? How are we going to get past this iron gate? Okay, you missed it. I like to play what if when I'm reading scripture. What if, how are we going to get past this first guard? How are we going to get past the second guard? See, I missed the first time too. I missed the second time too. What? See, catch this. What if God kept Peter silent? Because if he had talked during the time of motion, he would have woke the enemy up. Sometimes you better learn how to move in silence so you don't wake the snake up. You better learn how to move in silence so you don't wake the enemy up. You better learn how to move in silence so the snake don't get up. Baby, this is my deliverance. I'm moving in silence. Oh, I'm not saying a Okay, I told you. I play what if. What if? So I asked myself, so I learned to move in silence. I'm going move in silence. Seasoned saints, I ain't talking to y'all. Because real G's move in silence. Like lasagna. Somebody like, say it again, spell it again. Don't worry about it. You didn't. Then I said, okay, so I know how you got past the soldiers. I know how you got past snakes. You got to learn how to move in silence. Then the text says you come to an iron gate. Oh. Then I say, how you gonna move the iron gate? The text says the iron gate opens by itself. So I play what if? I say, so if he had been open, if he had been up, Peter naturally would have tried to push the gate. Hey, I beat that. Let me see if I can do this. What if? What if? What if he had got past all of that and wasn't strong enough to push the gate open by itself? So now you're in the middle of a deliverance and you think God brought you this far to leave you. Have you ever been in the middle of deliverance and say, God, have you brought me this far to leave me? And here's what God is saying. God is saying, be quiet and keep your hands off of it. Because when you're quiet and keep your hands off of it, you'll find doors will swing open. See, we want to run the rota and the praise, and that's good. But I want to get, before we get to rota, because there's so much happen before we get to rota. And the text says, when they get down the street, the text says Peter comes to himself. Wait a minute. When he gets to the street, he comes to himself. He comes to him, and then he realizes, wait a minute. God brought me out of this. I want to prophesy to somebody today. You're about to have one of them moments. I want to prophesy to somebody today. You're about to have one of those moments where you realize, wait a minute. Put it in the comments, wait a minute. That's this. She says, wait a minute. Catch this. Everything that Herod was going to plan to do, that's not all it says. It says, and the Jewish people were hoping would happen. Put verse 11 on the screen, just in case you think I made it up. I didn't make it up, it's in the Bible. Verse number 11 says, and the last clause says, and God rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything the Jewish people were hoping would happen. Which means there were people hoping you wouldn't make it. Shh. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. It's people hoping you ain't gonna make it. But can I tell you something? God's about to do the opposite. God is about to do the opposite. They thought you were going to die. God said you're going to live. They thought you were going to be broke. God said, I'm about to make you wealthy. They thought you were going to be in bondage. God said, I'm about to make you free. You're about to come to yourself. And everything they thought was going to happen. But I gotta mess with you. I gotta mess with you. Because remember, we're a praying church. We're interceding. Because remember, I gotta mess with you. All of this is happening while the church is praying. Which means there is motion in one place while prayer is happening in another place. Which means there's prayer happening over here, but motion is happening over here. So you may not see it happening yet. But baby, to everybody that's been praying, just because you don't see motion, that don't mean God ain't moving. I want to declare to somebody today, God is moving.
Woo! That was quite a sermon. And there were so many parts. I wrote so many things down. I have my old notes, but like, I honestly listened to it again. I wrote some more things down. And there was a moment when he was speaking about understanding that question when we ask ourselves, like, God, you brought me this far to leave me? Or we being felt like God has left us in our circumstance or situation, but understanding that sometimes in his plans, we won't be able to perceive what's happening. That's how great he is. That's how much control and power he has. Because just as Peter leaving that prison and the angel guiding him, he thought he was in a vision. Literally just seeing how it goes, trusting God, trusting that God is working and not trying to control everything that happens. I love when he said that you have to be in motion and in silence sometimes, because God doesn't need you to interrupt what he's doing. And in that moment of the angel just guiding him and him saying, what if he had spoke and woken up the enemy? Those things are like just reminders that like we have to trust in God's plan. And we have to be able to not put our will or what we would want to ask or know above the truth of him, of knowing that he will be with you, lead you, and never leave you in anything that you're in. And there was a part where he talked about cognitive bias. And for me, someone that loves mental health, I understood that word, I've researched that word, I've learned, I know that what cognitive bias is, and it is a strong factor in everything that goes on in our lives. And being able to check our biases, being able to do the check through our faith, through what God is saying in our lives, that's how we overcome our cognitive bias, but also learn what they are, and understanding that like we can't just let our understanding rule everything. It is not just by our understanding, but we want to go based on God's understanding through our faith. And that word was just, that hit me hard. And I also wanted to talk, that part where he says, you are well able. Like, so much happens in our lives that make us feel like 1,000, make us feel like 0. And it's like, in 1,000, believing you're well able, and in 0, still believing you're well able. Well able is the foundation. It is the thing that will not leave in whatever your human experience is happening, because well able is connected to God. He is well able. That means in anything that you think you have to control, he will do much better, and he will do it in a way that you might not even be aware of, but he will do it. And when he said that Peter got to the end of the street and he came to himself and he realized that it wasn't a vision, that's what the premise of this human experience is understanding to let God lead us. And when we come to a moment and understand that God has been guiding us, that we let the Spirit lead us to the next thing that we have to do. So this was an amazing word. I hope this edifies you. As I said in the beginning, I would really encourage that you go listen to this full word, the perspective and the way he broke this down, because it was really powerful. And one last thing, because I'm just looking at my notes right now, and God will pull you out of anything. He loves you that much. And for me, in my journey, I'm having to understand that even in my highest of highs, or when I get low, of knowing that God will pull you out, and that out is the next thing he wants for you, what he wants for you. So even in my highest, he will pull me out of this highest to something greater. Even in my lowest, I can trust that God will get me out of this moment. And it's about that trust and understanding, and knowing that, and in the whole message, the topic being it's closer than you think, these are all the things that keep you in the fight. Keeps you wanting to build that resilience, that courage, that bravery. Makes you understand the power of your faith, and your power of your faith when connected to God. And knowing that through him, the enemy will try to lie to you, telling you that whatever you want, you can't attain. But through him, you can know that it's right there for you to reach. But our job is to surrender and to trust him. So I love this word. As I said in the beginning, I hope this space is encouraging for you, is giving you the joy to understand that we serve a really good God, a loving God, an agape God, and know that, and this word really spoke to me that like, the enemy really will try to get you, but it's closer than you think, truly. So, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, I hope this month goes well for you. I pray that your family is well. I pray that you are well. I pray that all that's happening in your heart, that God will come into every mode and every thought that you have in your mind and your heart, and he will lead you and he will guide you. Don't try to control everything. Give God, lay it at his feet and see what he does with it. Just be a good manager. Be a good observer. And trust your faith as you continue. And I pray that God will bless you and be with you through it all. So, as I say before I end every conversation, until next sermon, until next time, guys, and we'll talk very soon.